Welcome to the Firearms Insider Gun and Gear Review Podcast, episode 330. On this show, we showcase gun reviews, gear, and anything else a gun enthusiast may be looking for. We strive to evaluate products from an unbiased and honest perspective. I'm your host, Chad Wallace, and this is the Q&A Freedom episode. With me tonight are Tony, Rob, and Zane. We'll go through what you guys do in firearms. I will say I did absolutely nothing. Yeah, that's what I did. So you guys are up.
Rob?
Okay, well,
I did. Go ahead, Rob.
I was going to say I didn't do anything gun-wise, but I did something I've been meaning to do for the last, 8 months since I took that math class last year. I went ahead and typed up the notes from that class, and 2 legal pads turned into 37 pages of typed up notes.
Yeah, that does not surprise me.
No. So, yeah, I spent the whole weekend typing because I'm not a very fast typist. I'm a very slow typist.
Yeah,
So.
Awesome. Zane?
I did range maintenance. I mowed my gun range, fixed some target stands, did all that. Did shoot a little bit. I took some ammo. I mean, I'm not going to go to the range and just not take any ammo. Did a little bit of shooting, but I mean, it's been between 98 and 102 degrees every day down here. So I'm just don't want to go to the range. It's just too hot. But yeah, that's it. Got some cool stuff in too that I'm not going to talk about on the air yet, but I got some fun toys.
Nice.
Well, I
Tony?
bet the Rangers are going to be packed this weekend.
Yeah, probably are. One thing I announced and made a video about the giveaway we're going to have with High Point and High Tower Armory for our Patreons. That was cool. Some people joined up when they saw the vids. Awesome. Join our Patreon. We're going to have a lot of other cool stuff to give away that will require FFL. Also got a really cool book coming up, the AR-15 book that's signed by Larry Vickers. I got a limited edition one. So get in on it. Become a Patreon. Be giving that away soon, too. And I had my first range day, dude, since COVID.
Woohoo.
Yeah, man. Nick Wong, my cigar dealer, my cigar pusher, but he gave me some fairly cool cigars while I was out there. But he set up with New Jersey gun forums, and we went out shooting clays. So, of course, I grabbed some clays. I grabbed 2 boxes because he said they might be short. And, because people always want to bang, but they don't want to bring. So I took out 2 boxes of clays, grabbed my home defense shotgun, carried it according to New Jersey state law, because I wanted to see how good I am with that the first couple shots. You know what I'm saying? Like cold bore, let's get out there, pull, bang, nailed it, dude. First 2, nailed them, missed 1, racked it, caught it before it hit the ground, emptied it. I had 1 miss out of 5 rounds. I was like, all right, cool. And it wasn't the first one.
Nice.
Very
nice.
And then we shot a Benelli. Friend of mine's Benelli. Oh, that is so sweet. I was like, could I enjoy my $99 shotgun a little more before you give me the $1,000 shotgun, you jerk?
What kind of Benelli was it?
I think it was a Vinci.
Oh, I got a Super Venti. Those were nice.
Might have been. I don't know which one it was. I didn't really look because I was just having fun, and then I realized it's hot as hell, and kind of started sucking. Then I shot his 870. I think it might have been a police or something like that. It was really cool.
Those are nice.
Had rifle sights on it, which was hilarious because I was able to nail 3 in a row, missed twice because I started using the sights.
Yeah.
I was like, son of a gun. Welcome to shotgunning.
I tell you,
Yeah, rifle sights don't work well on clays.
No.
You got to ignore them. You actually have to ignore the rifle sights and use the friggin' top of the firearm. But I love boomsticks. Go ahead, man.
I tell you, I've got the Benelli Super 90, which is the shotgun you can switch from semi-automatic to pump. And I bought it just because I was stupid. Anyways, I took it to a clay room, trap range, and they, you can't go shoot traps with that riot gun. I'm like, okay, bang, 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 bang. Oh, I can't shoot them, can I?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I've shot trap guns, and yeah, for a specialty piece of equipment is awesome, but if I'm not going to dedicate that much time to it, why would I do that?
Well, because people that do that go out and spend $5,000 for an over-under gun, and they do all this other stuff, and it's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah,
Well,
I could buy.
the thing is if they enjoy it, it's just like going and shooting
So
PRS.
we can't call them Elmer Fudd anymore because Elmer no longer has a shotgun. He's got a scythe.
But no, my whole thing is this: it's cool. This is your sport, but I don't need that particular high end equipment to actually play this sport casually. So calm
right,
down.
and have fun doing it. Yeah,
It's like every time I went to an IDPA or USPSA match, most people walk in there with $2,000 pistols and all this gear and crap, and I walk in there with, especially the IDPA, I walk in there with just my regular carry gear.
Yep.
And they've got holsters, and I'm like, I carry my magazines the way I carry them in my cargo pants.
Mm-hmm.
I use that as a way as a test bed.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Which it works.
But anyways,
well
we're getting way off topic. I'm sorry.
okay. Well, we'll get into the announcements and then the good stuff. You can go to the gunandgearcult.com, pledge your support. There are $1, $5, $15, $25 levels. Awesome for those people that are supporting us. Bandwidth sponsor is Patriot Patch Co. The patch for July is the Tree of Liberty, water with the blood of patriots and tyrants, best every 200 years. It's pretty cool. That probably
how convenient for this time.
I know. I mean, it's like those guys over there know what's going on. But so there is that. If you're shopping Amazon, of course, please use the firearmsradio.tv/Amazon affiliate link. We also have affiliate links for Matador Arms and Amen 2. So those are on our website. If you want to click through them and use them, we would appreciate it. And now, the most important thing of the evening.
Yeah, especially since we'll be getting into some legal questions and some, stuff that could get us into trouble. Here we go.
That's
the
right.
Views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual co-hosts and do not reflect the official policy or position of the Firearms Radio Network and or their employers. This is not legal advice, nor should it be considered as such. Viewer discretion is advised. This is especially true on live shows. And guys, we're not lawyers and we hate Holiday Inn Express, so take it for that.
Exactly. So, on to the questions. The first two are from cult members, so I threw them in here.
Woo!
Yeah, I mean, hey, might as well put them first. I mean, they're pretty simple. Will, who I would like to also say that for anybody that probably knows him or doesn't, he just had him and his wife just had a new baby, so congratulations to them, or not congratulations once they turn 17.
Well, if it's a girl, you'll be no.
I can't remember, but he sent us a quick question. His question is, what is your guys' favorite cartridge or load? That means like if you reload or your favorite cartridge caliber, kind of all of those things.
Whoa, I was about to go We Like Shooting with his Zane joke,
exactly.
but I'll leave it alone.
Yeah, you got to really be careful with this.
It's kind of.
I would say whatever I'm shooting at the moment.
Yeah, well,
but normally my carry ammo is 9mm, just because round per capacity, and it's got a decent amount of power, and it's got good rounds or good loads.
Right.
Good defensive ammo. Just because of commonality.
Yeah, I actually went a little farther.
Oh.
I actually put in here just because I know Will's a hand loader and does a lot of cartridge development.
Oh no! I wouldn't shoot anything I'd hand load.
But I put in here my favorite probably load that I have is for 243 Winchester. It's a 70 grain ballistic tip, and basically it's good for a light bullet, buck in the wind. It's explosive on varmints. And I think out of my gun, it's doing like 3,380 feet per second. So you can imagine. I think it's got like 40 inches of drop at like 600 yards or something, but still, it's got a good ballistic coefficient for that bullet, and yeah, it annihilates varmints. So that's probably why it's my favorite.
Yeah, I'm not set up for hand loading or reloading or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, other than that, I would go with common calibers, 223, 9mm, 308, just because they're inexpensive. I still do like the 22 long rifles because they're cheap, unlike Zane. Zane, do you have anything favorite? Or is Zane not here?
Zane's muted. Zane took a hike or something. I don't know.
I don't. I don't
Zane,
know.
Zane's favorite load is reduced recoil 9mm.
No, buckshot, double out buck. Remember?
Reduced recoil anything.
Yeah.
Minus P, minus.
Nice. Since Zane is probably doesn't know he's muted and can't take it off, or I have no idea what's going on.
Oh, he's
dropped
not
out.
Oh, he must have been having problems.
All right. So I'll go ahead and say mine. I'm almost like Rob. Whatever I'm shooting, I dig at the time. But I really put some thought in it. Like, what do I enjoy shooting the most? And it really comes down to accuracy and my ability financially to replace what I'm shooting. And I'm digging at 22 long rifle is one of the things I like, only because it can be really accurate, or it could, depending on what you buy, or it could be a plinker load. And it also depends on what you shoot out of it, and what you shoot it out of. So my more accurate rifles, I just love shooting tiny groups and relaxing and doing the breathing exercises. And 22 allows me to do all that without the distraction, because all I'm doing is trying to shoot precise groups. So I think my favorite overall is 22, but I dig everything I got. That's why I own it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Zane, you're back.
Yeah, I'm back. I had a little issue. I wish I could remember the load data from my 12 gauge round I used to load back when 12 gauge was actually kind of hard to find. So I got into reloading, but I can't. But it was like an ounce or an ounce and an eighth of number 9, and it was loaded really hot. I can't remember what powder or wad I used. It was on a AA Winchester hull, but oh well. I can't remember. I haven't reloaded in 10 years. But my favorite cartridge to shoot is American Eagle, the Federal American Eagle 147 grain 9mm. It's just it's so close to my carry ammo, and it's fairly cheap. And
When
so I blazed through cases of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't find it last time, so I had to go with the Blazer, which I like. It's not bad. I just prefer shooting 147s because that's my that's my carry ammo, and it's
right.
Especially when now that I'm shooting red dots, you can be a lot more precise.
Yeah.
And it helps. So
yeah. So I guess we'll go on to number 2 here. This is from Nick O. It's kind of for all of us individually, but it said, I'd like to know if you guys have a specific procedure for doing reviews and what goes into a typical review. And I will mention that, we do have our kind of format that we use that for the reviews, but the general written part is pretty much up to the person reviewing the thing. Like for me, if it's a product that somebody has supplied to us, I usually say, hey, give me at least 3 months to, get it to the range, use it enough, stuff like that. If it's a barrel, I always throw in some sort of accuracy testing. As you guys know, I like to run stuff in some sort of competition if I can, because everything always breaks on me there or stuff like that. So,
you're stress testing it.
Basically, but you could do the same thing at a range, but for some reason it does put more stress on it. And so that's what I like to do.
yeah, I'm similar to where I try to take between 3 and 6 months to do a review. I don't like to just crank them out quick because you miss things when you do that.
Right.
I don't have a set procedural thing. Like if you watch the Sage Dynamics channel, he's going to do a 500 round burn down, and he's going to drop it shoulder height every 500 rounds, and he's going to be what's going to happen. I don't go to that extent because I'm reviewing so much different things. But if it's anything that has to do with EDC, I will incorporate it into my everyday carry and to my personal practice and training. And I try to take a class with this stuff if I can, because like competition, you will start to see your deficiencies in your gear in classes. So.
And your personal deficiencies.
Yeah. well, there's too many of those to talk about. So
yeah, we won't mention those yet.
I think we're all pretty much about the same, like Chad said. I mean, I do about the same thing. I get it. First thing I do is open the box and go, ooh, what I get in there, like Christmas.
Yeah, exactly.
And then go through everything, and I try to see if I can break it before I use it. And I've done that a couple
I've
times.
done that too. The other thing too is like Rob was saying, I actually, when I first get a product, I actually take a bunch of pictures of it before it's even used, so I can have decent pictures to show you guys.
Not me. I want to show you what it looks like after I've had time to trash it.
Well, you
And
gotta
just for the record,
both.
every review I've written for the channel, I hate the way I write my reviews.
Hey, I hate mine too, but it's not that we hate them. It's just
We're not
I don't know.
professional writers, so I feel like I'm missing something. Or my English teacher from the 9th grade would be like, "Why did you use that language that's not even English, you idiot."
Yeah.
I probably do less written reviews than anybody here. I definitely do less written reviews than anybody here, but I do reviews on the Second is for Everyone podcast every show almost. But I like putting lots of rounds through stuff. I like using it, actually using my gear, and then telling you what I did with it. I really despise the people that call something a review when they open the box and then they start talking about it. That's not a review.
That's what we do in the second part of our show, which is product spotlight, which
Yeah,
is not
exactly.
a review.
Exactly. So I don't dig that. I did the SKS review on the last show. Dude, I've had the SKS for years and probably fired like 4,000 rounds through it. But I gave you a review. I got the High Point coming up. That's been through not only Minuteman challenges, me shooting it for the heck of it, and also diversity shoots. So I have lots of people shoot the gun. So I like actual people that put rounds down range and that can actually give me good information. Sorry, I keep using the word actually, but the reason I'm saying it is because some of your favorite YouTube channels pretty much do a paid commercial and they shoot 100 rounds out of something.
I'm still trying to figure out how I can put at the end of the day after everything.
At the end of the day, and I'm smoking my father's cigars, Maduro.
Nice.
Flor de la something. I don't know. I can't read this, but I took a picture of it. I'll probably post it on my social media tomorrow. What the heck?
My father's cigars are very, very nice.
Somebody asked in the chat if people who are listening, that's why.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. I didn't just lose my dang mind and forget what show I was on.
You probably did, but
we like smoking and
we like shooting. Hey, we like shooting. We like smoking. We like anything that'll kill you.
Listen,
we got
I'm all
stuff.
about the ATF, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, just not the executive branch organization.
It's explosives now.
Well, here's the great thing. Too. 3 out of 4 of us are from the South, and that's what we do at a cookout anyway.
Hey, it ain't a cookout until somebody rips a string of M80s in the barbecue pit.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, so next questions from Brian R. Now this one I'm sure Zane will give us good info on, but all of us probably will. It says, why do people say to only have factory magazines for carry serious duty? I like that I can buy 2 Magpul Glock mags for the price of 1 factory Glock magazine, but nearly everyone advises against it. I don't quite get it since the PMag is used by the military, and I don't think Magpul releases crappy products.
Well, they don't.
Right.
Well, that's because up until Magpul, everybody who made third-party magazines made crap.
Right.
Well,
okay. Zane.
So Magpul had issues with the original 9mm Glock mags.
They did, but they did the right thing and
they immediately came out and was like, "Yo, we screwed up. We're fixed. That's our bad." Like, unlike a lot of companies, and so respect for that. Now, the gun comes with 2 mags or sometimes 3. So I typically use the OEM ones for carry. I will say I have, I think, 8 or 10 Magpul Glock PMags, and I've only had 1 malfunction ever, and I've run them through 3 2-day classes now at this point. So I'm to the point where I would almost trust the Glock mags from Magpul for carry. And the only issue I had, I'm pretty sure, was shooter induced. I actually had the gun locked back when there were still rounds in the mag. And I honestly think I bumped the slide stop with my support hand.
See, and I'm kind of with you guys, and I could care less about using factory magazines, but I'm going to run any magazine I have enough, like you with the Magpul mags. I've been running Magpul mags for Glock mags and hadn't had any problems.
Yeah, now like
I
Pro
do have
mags and
yeah,
ETS
I do
mags.
have ETS mags and I do have some problems with those, but
Right.
I don't but it's not I don't carry those. It's make sure and run enough rounds through the magazine that you're sure that it's a reliable magazine no
I
matter
bought
what
some
the brand.
cheap Korean magazines for my Glock 17 many years ago.
How'd that
I
work?
could not get one magazine to cycle 5 rounds.
Here's
Yeah.
my shocked. Here's my shocked face.
Yeah, I've done that. The Pro mag.
Well, no, I thought it
series.
was good. That's $10 for a magazine. Yeah, it's great. I'm just glad I
Mhm.
took it to the range to test them out before I actually carry them.
Yeah.
Those
I will
things are in
say-
my
I
closet right
only, now for 5.56, I like P mags better than GI OEM style. mags.
I do too,
Um,
actually.
Can I run this?
So-
Go back on the history. One, Glock mags from Magpul. Because my hands are so big on a Glock 19, I have the pinky swinging like most people have on the 26. Magpul gives me that little bit of oomph that I can get my pinky on it when I'm using my Glock 19. These are my carry mags. Yes, because I live in Jersey and I'm stuck with 10 rounds. So I got reloads and I carry them just like I did in my classes, which is in my pocket. I did the 15 rounders because I took my last dedicated pistol class with Pincus. And I was able to run my 15 round Magpul Glock mags. So I've never had a problem with them. Reason historically that it kind of sucked is because aftermarket mags used to be horrible. But now we have Checkmate and now we have Mekdar. And they just make great stuff. And so does, of course, Magpul. I think it's
Yeah,
actually
I believe
Magpul,
Metgar's-
Checkmate, and Mekdar.
I believe Metgar's an OEM for many manufacturers.
I think it is,
In
especially
fact,
European
one-
manufacturers.
One thing I really like about the P mags is that you know when they're no good anymore because the feed lip just breaks.
Yeah,
It doesn't
does-
bend. It doesn't chip. Like that's the thing with like 1911 mags or or any steel mag or like the aluminum GI mag.
the GI mags.
When the feed lips bend, you just start getting malfunctions and you don't know what
And let me
with
throw
the,
something.
with the polymer mags, it just
Yeah.
breaks when it's no good anymore. And then you throw it away
Yeah.
and you buy another one.
But let me talk about also a thing like this. If you have something that's already established, Berettas, Beretta 92s, CZs, there's enough information out there with some of the more mature designs, 1911s, that people know the mags you get. You get the Wilson Combat mags and the Chip McCormick mags for 1911.
Yeah.
The information is out there now that who's really dependable and who you can actually go, okay, I'm not going to be putting 5,000 rounds through this before I decide it's my carry mag. But you find people you can trust, and you find multiple sources of just regular dudes and some of the more known people and find out what they use and use that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I still only carry OEM Glock mags only because I have 12 of them. So why not just use them? Because I was collecting those before Magpul came out with their, and before
Right.
Magpul came out with Glock mags, in my opinion, there were no other good
No.
mags for Glocks. So I was collecting, $30 Glock mags, which are still substantially cheaper than FN,
Yeah, they're not.
CZ,
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
anyone
Way more.
else.
Oh yeah. Trust me.
So I'm going to read these next questions for you guys, and I'm going to bow out on this one because you guys would know way more. I have a super simple answer, and then you guys can go to town. This I combined them. One's from Colin S. It says, "Where's the best place to find training classes? What is the most important thing to look for in training instructor class, and what are some things to avoid?" And then David P says, "Where is the best place to find firearms training reviews? Is there a good place to see honest breakdown of classes around the country that have been reviewed?" And my quick answers are, we have some podcasts on the network. We have the After Action Project, and also Civilian Carrier Radio is really good. They have really good people on there. And that's, but otherwise, I'll throw it to all you guys for answers just because you're more versed in that particular department.
Well, I
than me.
think the first thing you got to determine is what do you want to get training for. You want to get defensive training, you want handgun training, you want to get rifle training, you want to get shotgun training. Define what you want to get trained on, and then you can start looking. I would start with just local friends, because unless you want to travel halfway across the country to take a class,
There is a email subscription thing, and I'm trying to find it, where once a week they send you an email of classes that are going to be in your area, and I cannot read. I had it written down and forgot to bring it with me. It's fairly decent.
Hey, Zane?
I think,
we'll give you a homework assignment, because you didn't do your homework assignment from last week.
Yeah.
You had a homework assignment?
Yeah, I'll give you a homework assignment. Get it, and we can drop it in the show notes before they go live on Friday.
Yeah,
can do that.
No,
and then also,
Thursday.
I would say, primary and secondary on their website has a training schedule of associated instructors, most of which I would think are pretty vetted. What is that one podcast? John Johnston's. No, John Johnston's podcast.
Ballistic Radio.
Yes.
Yep, that's another good one. And then, of course, like Chad said, Civilian Carrier Radio, Baraka and crew over there do a great job.
And they have lots of the trainers on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And of course, it's not like you could just you could go back and listen to them all, but it's going to take you some time.
Also, primary and secondary on their board. When you go to their after action report board, which is also on their website, you can click on it and go there quickly. You can get a rundown of a lot of it, but let me go ahead and tell you, it doesn't have to be a Special Forces commando. That's out. It doesn't have to be Leo or law enforcement. That's out. Depending on what you want to know. And I'm not saying you just don't do it. I'm saying for the best, dad joke incoming, bang for the buck, you can go with a locally known instructor to get the basics, find out what you dig. Is probably going to be less expensive than the celebrity instructor. And you'll find out what you like, what you don't like. You'll talk to guys in the class and they'll show you gear and they'll also tell you who they've been to. And I think that helps a lot.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
I'll also say though, with that, as that local cheaper instructor, you're going to want to ask that guy some questions though, because they are not all created equal.
No.
So let's talk about some things too, some red flags, things to avoid. If an instructor only has like one type of training, if everything he's telling you is all law enforcement, or it's all military, or it's all NRA credentials, I'm an NRA this, I'm an NRA this, I'm an NRA. Like, okay.
I feel attacked.
Well, I mean,
exactly.
but you've done,
I felt threatened.
With that, but how many classes have you done with people that are outside of your realm? Like you've trained with what, Pincus and Fish? You took a Fisher class too, right? Didn't you?
No, I took Pincus. I did Costa.
Costa.
You and me. Zane,
Right,
we took the Yeti class.
That's right. Yeah. So it's like, and look, there's nothing wrong with a dude who's a military guy. I mean,
No.
Me and Tony were military guys. There's nothing wrong with the dude who's a cop, right? I hold a law enforcement instructor certification. But another thing you want to ask, when was the last time your instructor took a class? Because the last time he took a class was in 2003. I'm gonna say pass on him. You know what I mean?
I just have to laugh because of what you feel is a long time ago. It's 2003.
That's 17 years, Tony. I was
Yes,
in high school in 2003.
Yeah, you were still in diapers back then, Zane. We know.
But Jane's 100% right. Be careful, vet your guys, and there's going to be some trial and error. But also, when you go into a training class, and this is after you get there, and it turns into story time all day long instead of teaching you stuff, you just wasted your money. I feel, and that's just personal.
And if first thing out of the gate, there's not a medical and safety brief, I would say leave at lunch. And don't come back.
Well, that depends. Is it a classroom class or is it an actual range class? Range
don't
class,
care.
absolutely.
Even in a classroom setting, I mean, I think most instructors worth their salt are going to still give you. I mean, even if it's these where the exits are, if the fire alarm goes off, we're going to go. Like, there should be a medical safety brief before every firearms class, in my opinion.
And also, let me go ahead and throw that out there as an NRA certified instructor and pretty much rifle, pistol, shotgun safety. That's one of the basics, man. Telling people what happens if the wheels fall off. How do they get help? What's the phone number? Put it in, where are you located? What's the actual address? All that stuff is very important. If they're leaving that off, questionable. Questionable about anything else they do, because that's the first thing you do. And I feel the NRA basic class, their instruction module is really geared, and you should really try that and don't look at that as, well, I have a hunting license. No, man, go to that basic safety class to brush up on stuff. It's local. It shouldn't cost much money. And that gives you the fundamentals.
Yep. Well, hopefully that's helping these guys out. Good information there. So next up, we have Ryan B. What is the best method you have found to adapt a standard AR magwell for use with pistol mags? Which magwell adapter or mag conversion do you think is best? And then, what is the best shooting sport to introduce newer shooters to competition shooting? And
Mag-X.
Tony, I'm not going to argue. Mag-X from Matador Arms is one of the better ones, and they have tons of different options for which magazines you would like. If you want Glock, if you want, I don't know what else they have. CZ,
Glock, CD, Smith & Wesson M&Ps.
Yeah, M&P.
Mm-hmm.
They have they got some others too. The only other one I would recommend would be the Stern Defense one, and that's if you're running Glock mags. And it's they're both good quality. They both work well. It's just kind of which magazines do you want to run, and how do you want to eject the magazine?
Oh, and P320 mags also they do. Now, 100% they sent this to me. The reason I'm telling you about it is because this is the only one I've done, because this is the first one I've done, but it was really easy, really quick. It takes the mags. I've been messing with it since I got it. And as soon as the range opens up, I think the gun is right there. You can't see it. Anyway, it's ready to go, dude. I can't wait to get out and try this thing out, and I'll let you guys know right away. But it was just so fast to put this thing in.
And like I've used the Endo mags. They sent one for review. I don't know if you guys remember. And it's weird training things to use something like that, because the bolt stop is in the magazine, and you have to the ejector is on the magazine. So in order to eject the round out of the bolt, you have to have the magazine in and then lock the bolt back and then drop a mag. It's a little odd. So I prefer the magwells from like Matador Arms or Stern Defense, and I think those are kind of the ones out there that everybody's using.
Dedicated lower. Next question.
Yeah.
There's always that.
Well, the only problem with that is you got some states where you can't get those, or it's a pain in the butt because you got to go through these freaking hoops. So
yeah, no, I'm kidding. That's my only experiences with a dedicated lower, though.
Yeah, I forget how spoiled I am living in Florida. It's like, I'll just give me a dedicated lower and be done with it.
Right, which is what Zane did. The other thing he asked is best thing to introduce new shooters to competition shooting.
I'd go outlaw.
I have two. My personal opinion, I have the Rimfire Challenge, because everybody likes to shoot a little faster, and then Steel Challenge, Speed Steel, those type, because you can use 22s, you can use handguns, rifles. They have classes for all of those. Now Zane's, I will not. His small bore it's much slower, more methodical. So depending on the person, yes, small bore may be better for them.
I've never done it, but I've heard great things about Appleseed also.
Appleseed's not a competition. Appleseed's not a competition.
It's not a comp. Okay.
But it's wonderful for getting your fundamentals down. I agree 100% with the Steel Challenge, because that's breaking out the 22s. And the reason I say that is because you get to manipulate it. So if you have an AR that you're going to run, pick up either a conversion kit for it, or pick up a Smith & Wesson M&P 1522, and it'll have all the controls where you need it, and you'll just confidently run it. But also local IDPA matches. Local IDPA match, carry a carry gun, and have some fun with it. Learn to manipulate it, shoot it, pick up tips from other people about how to shoot faster, more accurately. That's the place to go. I feel.
I tried
think
the
that-
IDPA and USPSA, and I had more fun at they call it the outlaw matches, which is basically you show up, run what you brung, run it how you bring it. So you'll see everybody carrying everything from a 22 to a 357 to 44 Magnum, inside the waistband, outside the waistband. It's however you want to shoot. There's
Oh, yeah.
I think
And
the key is to start slower and not rush into like an action sport, because the fundamentals shooting fast is nothing more than the fundamentals do quicker, right? So
Right.
if your fundamentals aren't nailed down, which is why I say things like go to an Apple seat or small bore. But yeah,
Right.
I mean the action sports are awesome.
And let me go ahead and throw that out there. The Minuteman Challenge is awesome. And the reason we do it's based on we want that to be you sticking your toe in, bringing what you got. You know what I'm saying? Bringing whatever you have. We do 22s, we do revolvers, all of that, different dedicated times for that. And it's just guys or girls hanging out, having fun, very little pressure, but you do still have the pressure of timer and competition.
I'll throw
Yeah.
a plug in for my my buddies over at B8 Development Group too. If you're looking at a way to dip your toe in, it's in kind of an online competition. You just got to submit a video submission of you shooting the drill of the month, and you can win patches and stuff. So
There are many
Yeah,
ways out there. Oh, Winchester marksmanship thing that goes through the NRA program. That's another mail-in kind of thing. You can go at your own speed. It's still competition. And again, it's dipping your toe in, dude. There's no reason to jump in, buy hundreds of dollars worth of gear and stuff like that, and then try to participate in the competition. It's not necessary.
Yeah. And I do know that depending on what is it, 4-H, if it's a child, so to speak, or 4-H has some really good teaching competition type stuff. Of course, us old people can't do it, but but yes, there is that too. So the next question is a little bit different, and I mean we kind of don't know all the things, but we'll throw it in there. It's from Jonathan V. It said, "What would you not shoot through a non-refundable gun muffler suppressor? Basically, if you were to buy one, they're not really refundable. Home reloads, cast bullets, powder coated bullets, and then he has other questions too.
Well, let's tear them one apart, right?
Yep. In that case, I would just shoot. I would if it's non-serviceable, I would only shoot jacketed bullets. But if it is serviceable, meaning you can take it apart, then you shoot whatever you want through it. If you shoot your own reloads, it's on you. So
I'd also make sure your barrel twist can sustain your bullet weight, so you don't get a keyhole out of the muzzle.
Yeah.
And if you're using a wet suppressor, don't use hollow points.
Because they might get wet and expand.
Because they will expand in the suppressor.
I can promise you I would take a look at the whatever the manufacturer sends for literature, because most manufacturers will not cover any kind of home loads.
Correct.
And they'll tell you what they'll cover. Most of them, a lot of them don't like cast bullets. They want, jacketed ammunition. Again, I would just follow what the manufacturer says, because I run either full metal jacket or total TMJ through mine. I've not had problems with them, and just make sure. And a lot of manufacturers will give you one free oops, like Silencer Co. will do that, where if you blow up a suppressor bag by running 45 through a 9 and you tear it apart, they'll give you one free repair.
Right. And even nowadays, some of the ones that are serviceable, you can buy end caps. So if you blast an end cap off or something, but your baffles are still good, you can buy one, and it's not a wait time and another $200. It's just because it's just an end cap. So look for stuff like that too if you're buying one. Now, next one, for a homemade suppressor, after you file your Form 1 and wait, depending on the years, aluminum or steel. He says he doesn't have a machine gun, and he doesn't or shooting 1,000 rounds plus a month. So why not aluminum?
Why not?
Well, in my it kind of depends. If it's for a rifle, I don't know if I would want aluminum's going to wear out no matter what. So I would go with steel or stainless, or some of the Inconel, or something with some more strength than the aluminum. If it's for a rifle, if it's for a pistol caliber, aluminum all the way is my opinion. Because hey, that's what I would do. And then also, he says that if you were to destroy the one that you were the Form 1 on, since it's registered NFA firearm, what are your options like to fix it? Well, my understanding is you can't fix it yourself, even though you're the manufacturer. I don't know why. It's something to do with the Form 1, but of course we're not lawyers.
No,
So
God no.
So
Well,
I'm not gonna. That's my understanding. But then again, if you made it, who knows? It's kind of like, because each baffle is supposedly the suppressor, so that's I think why they want you to file a new form. But I can't really tell you, and
I have no idea.
What I've learned from talking to other manufacturers is, as long as the serial number's not mucked up, they can rebuild it.
Right, but if it's on a Form 1,
you're the manufacturer. Why couldn't you rebuild it? Is my question.
For some reason, my understanding is they won't. You can't legally.
Okay, I'm not going to argue that point.
Yeah,
I don't know for sure, but
yeah, exactly. So I would fare on the caution side. Contact the ATF and ask them. I mean, if you really
don't ask questions you don't want to know the answer to.
Exactly.
Do you have a dog?
That's a better question, because if you don't have a dog, then you're probably okay asking.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but now I have a Form 1 suppressor that I built for my submachine gun, and
I mean,
is
it one of those oil can deals, or
no, it's an actual built. I made K baffles and screws together, and that was because it's on a sub gun, and I've shoot 22 through it a lot.
Dude,
so it unscrews, and you clean it and you screw it back together.
His suppressor looks like the one from No Country for Old Men.
It does not. It looks nice. It's stainless.
Yeah, theirs was too.
Yeah. No, made on the lathe and everything. So if that does or does not answer your question, next up, Alex O sends us a question. Says, as a consumer getting into AR-10s, should you go .308 Winchester for now, as ammo is cheaper and more available, rather than the 6.5 Creedmoor, which is more expensive and less available? My biggest concern is ammo availability and pricing. Also, what do you think about budget AR-10s uppers made by Stoner or Bear Creek Arsenal?
I know nothing about those two.
That's the thing. I think Stoner is a Midway USA brand, so I would trust it a little more, I think, than the Bear Creek Arsenal.
I mean, I've got one, my AR-10 is a Barnes Precision from Apex, North Carolina, and I love it to death. But as far as 6.5 Creedmoor, I'd be more inclined 6.5 in a bolt action rifle.
I would actually go with a 308.
I think it depends on what barrel length you're trying to run and what you're trying to do with the gun.
But what I would do is I would go with the 308, because in these times, I think you might fare better finding 308. Even though, and personally, any upper you could find right now is probably the one you should get, because there's like hardly anything out there.
The problem with AR-10s is there isn't a spec, really.
There's like two standards, right?
There's two, but none of them are like with AR-15s, you have mil spec, and then you have companies that go below that, and you have companies that go above that. With AR-10s, there's like two different standards. You got what do you have? And then within those standards, you have some other stuff. I would be very careful going budget with anything, but especially with AR-10s.
All right, now see, I have a different opinion, and the only reason I have a different opinion is this: if you're looking for budget, AR-10s, man, you might as well go with 308 if you're going to do that, because
Yeah.
you're not going to get that accuracy that supposedly 6.5 Creedmoor gives you, and you'll learn some stuff while you're doing that. And you went budget, so more than likely, I mean, you see what the market is like now. You could probably sell it and not lose a lot of money on that AR-10 in this time frame.
That's a good point.
So yeah, you can do it that way. If you're really serious about your precision, and if you're going to be reaching out, well past 600 yards with that, yeah, 6.5 it has less drop than 308. But ammo availability and everything is going to be better for a long time with 308 compared to 6.65 Creedmoor, because now they're even changing it to 6 Creedmoor. I mean, that has moved along. You know what I'm saying? So the precision guys aren't even using exclusively 6.5 Creedmoor anywhere. The cool kids are using 6.
And 6 PRC and 6.5 PRC. They've moved on.
Yeah, so the classic is there. It still works, especially if you're doing, I'm just pulling 600 yards out as a thing that's easily achievable with 308 7.62 by 51.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So here's one that we kind of answered, but not really. This is from Cracker277 from Instagram. He sent it in to us. They're like, he's one of the guys that, what do? They do the 277 Wolverine, I think. He's one of those guys. It says, what is your favorite 9mm round that might get me to think about changing from my 45 and 40 cal love? And I think he means just like defensive ammo. I know we all have our kind of preferences. I mean, I actually like the gold dots, the 124s, 135s, and 147s. The 135s they make are specifically for short barrels, handguns like 3-inch, 2.5-inch. That's just me. I kind of like them. I mean, they all seem to work fairly close to the same in those higher ones that about, like the federal. Oh, what are they in this?
HSTs.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of research on this a while back, and I looked at testing from the FBI. I looked at testing from Dr. Gary Roberts and from Lucky Gunner. And from what I can tell from all the testing I saw, there's more variant in different rounds of the same caliber than there is in variants from the same round of different calibers. So if you're shooting 115 Walmart branded, hollow point versus 147 grain HST, there is more variance in those than there is between 147 grain HST and a 230 grain HST in 45, right? So, which is why I'm pretty much set on 9mm. I think the gold dots are great. I know a lot of people like them. I have no problem with them. I just prefer the HSTs because they do a little better through auto glass, and I spend a lot of time in the front seat of a truck.
Right.
So I like heavier for caliber. So I shoot 147 grain HSTs in 3-inch guns, 4-inch guns, 5-inch guns, all the way across the board. That's my preferred load. But I think as long as you go with a gold dot or an HST, or some people really like the critical duties from Hornady.
Yeah,
I'm not a
Hornady.
huge fan of them. But
what
does Tony got going on over there?
I don't know. He's being
High
stupid.
point.
I dig 40 cal because everybody else doesn't. There's a bunch of us 40 cal fans, and I'm doing it just to be a pain in the butt. Yeah, because it has never 40 cal hasn't stopped doing anything 40 cal was designed to do. So I'm a contrarian when it comes to that. Also, you have heavier rounds. You still have HSTs. You have all that, and all of that's been proven and over multiple decades by law enforcement across the country. But if you want to step into 9, I have no problem with that either. Understand though that when things like what's happening right now, or ammunition apocalypse, what we had a few years ago, you're gonna have a hard time finding 9.
I was gonna say you can get 40 caliber right now.
You can definitely get 40 cal right now.
And yeah, you're not wrong about that. I mean, so 9mm isn't round for round better than 40 caliber.
So he's dropping
It's
off
just not
now.
really worse. And for you living in a 10 round state, you know, it kind of makes sense to maybe use a bigger cat, because for me, I want the extra rounds, you know. So I think that depends a lot too. Like if you live in a restrictive state where you can only have 10 rounds in the mag and you want to carry a Glock 19 size gun, there's nothing wrong with 40 or 45.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just, I think 9mm is king. All guns should be 9mm.
Yeah, well,
No,
that's
the
why I
reason.
make 50 different calibers, so whatever.
Yeah, it's good to go. If you want to switch over to nine, switch over to nine. You're gonna have a lot of options. You got a lot of used guns. Well, not anymore, but used guns will hit the market for nines because after this is over, these guys who just bought a gun because they thought there were going to be a lot of problems during COVID, and now whatever you want to call what we're going through now, when things get back to whatever the new normal is going to be, a lot of people are going to put their guns on the market.
Well, the other thing to think about, one of the biggest reasons to go with a 40 caliber over a 9 is if you're trying to make power factor and you want to shoot competition.
Then
so if that's
there's-
something
yeah.
you want to do, if you're not
Oh.
interested in that, I say go 9.
One more thing. If you're going to go 40 or if you have a 40, they sell 9mm conversions for mini guns. But you have to really run it and you have to look into it to find out what's good, what's a good conversion barrel, all that stuff. And then you can just do the conversion barrel, especially on things like Glock 23s and Glock 22s. I mean, it's like that. Gets a little more difficult with other guns, but what's up?
I was saying, I got one. I have a 357 Sig Glock that's been converted to 9mm for about 5 years now and runs fine. Just change the extractor out and it works fine.
Exactly.
And that's one of the cool things about and I'm not being Glock fanboy here. I'm just talking about options. With Glock Gen 3 being the gun of the or the generation of non-Glock bills, there's lots of options out there to switch your Glock 23 over to a Glock 19 for like 300 and change for a barrel slide and everything else. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So right now, and there's still used 40s out there on the market that people aren't snatching up. So
I will say, contrary to common belief, in a lot of what I've been seeing from Will Petty's testing, 9s are doing better than 40 and 45 through vehicle bodies, if that is a concern for you, which most people would think that would be the other way around, but it's not.
Well, no, because if you look at like
Smaller and
ballistic
faster.
vests, smaller, faster goes through better. Like your standard like soft body armor won't stop like your little dinky 17 HMR, but it'll stop a 9mm and a 357.
Also stop 5.7.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay. Well, let's. We got another question here. This one, we got a ton of questions, but we're not going to get to all of them. From Chris J. Excuse me. I am starting to research into pistol optics. I see one of the biggest problems is compatibility between optics and pistols. Would you recommend matching an optic cut to meet the pistol, or matching a pistol to fit optic cut? Or is there a footprint to look for that would give the most options? And I think Zane and I are on the same page here.
I say buy a gun you're going to shoot, and then find an optic to match it.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry.
Buy the optic, and then even though we complain about nobody putting optic cuts on brand new handguns, but my opinion is if you're getting a red dot for a handgun, go with an RMR footprint. I think the more quality sights have red dots have that RMR footprint. There are some that might not be quality, but from what I hear, if you actually send an optic and your slide off to get it cut, you will get the best fit possible, as opposed to it maybe being tiny bit loose if you buy like a slide that's already cut and then an optic.
Depends on who's cutting it, obviously.
Right.
Like ATEI will literally cut it exactly for the specific optic you're putting on. And yeah, I agree. If you're going to be serious about it, I would say, yeah, direct mill's the way to go. The exception would be if you want to be open to be future proof, There are some companies that do offer a decent universal, if you will, cut. Agency offers their AOS system, which is a far superior system to like the Glock MOS. They can actually turn your MOS into an AOS, and it doesn't suck like the MOS system does. And that's
Right.
coming from a Glock fanboy. It pains me to say that, but it does.
Oh, no, it does. I've got a Glock MOS. It's a POS.
Yeah. Or you could go with a plate from like C&H Precision, which does. And the other thing to think about, if you're some cops cannot send their gun off to get it milled. So then there are some good options out there. But if I still think the most reliable way to get the deepest cut, so it sets the optic the lowest in the slide, which makes it easier to pick up, and the most robust system is still going to be direct milling.
And I can guarantee you every manufacturer is going to say, as soon as I do that, your warranty is now void. But Zane's right. I would go and get the pistol you want to shoot first, and then find an optic to match it. Because if you get an optic, then find a pistol to match the optic, and you don't like shooting the pistol, what the hell's the point of that, you know?
But you better understand one thing: some pistols won't be able to take an optic like Beretta 92s.
Yep.
True.
They're working on. There's someone working on that. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they are. But
Right.
again,
Well, I
it's
mean,
not
It's
there
probably
now.
Langdon. If I have
What I'm
to
saying
guess.
is, if you like Beretta 92s and you want to buy a Beretta 92, but you can't fit an optic on it, you just have to deal with that. You know,
Mhm.
what's the point of buying a gun you're never going to shoot? You know,
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
God knows I got enough
So-
of those in my safe.
Hey,
You
could we
know-
go to the one about the gun company that's actually patriotic and Second Amendment friendly?
Yeah, I like that one.
You read it.
I can't read it. I don't have it on my screen. Anybody?
Okay.
Which one is it?
I mean, we can skip around. I'll just.
Oh no, I didn't know whether you're going to bring the show to an end or not. I just want to get that in before the end of the show.
Well, here.
Oh, is
here
this
pretty
it?
soon.
DRB Firearms?
I think that's the one.
Yeah,
In the firearms industry, it's silly to think that we Americans have to find a company pro Second Amendment. But here I am trying to make sure that the product I buy is. One of my favorite brands of AR-15s is the Radical Firearms. But what other companies stand behind the Constitution openly? What are your favorites?
I think me and Tony are on the same page with this one. Sons of Liberty.
Sons of Liberty Gun Works and POF.
I'm gonna go with
And
Radian
okay,
because they in Oregon they have last year they put up like they said they were going to, so I'm gonna throw them in there. They are U.S. made, like 60 miles away from me.
I know nobody on this show's ever heard of him, but I've talked about him before and several times. Barnes Precision in Apex, North Carolina. I've been to Andy's factory. He is as pro 2A as they come. And not only that, but he works deals to get his rifles into soldiers' hands, and a lot of his rifles are over in Iraq, Afghanistan. Somehow, I guess they're allowed to take them over there. I don't ask questions about it.
All right, and something I want to get out there because some people want to poo-poo it. I've hung out with these people. I've talked to these people for hours on end. High Point is a very pro 2A company. That's why they're in their price point. That's why they stay in their lane so they can get firearms in the hands of people that can't afford something more expensive. That's why they do what they do, and that's coming directly from the president of High Point multiple times. So yeah, there are companies out there that are definitely pro 2A. All gun companies are not pro 2A. Many gun companies are just businesses.
Yep.
And being strong pro 2A, they feel might cost them customers or cost them politically, and they won't even dance. They won't even swim in that pool. And I think that's some cowardly crap.
I mean,
Yeah.
and
That's
from what I've
one
seen too,
thing-
but Spike's
that's one
Tactical is fairly pro 2A. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's one thing I'm a huge fan of when it comes to Sons of Liberty Gunworks. Like Mike over there is very outspoken about being not just pro 2A, pro all the A's, the whole Constitution, and he rerouted his SHOT Show trip so he could make it to the rally in Virginia the day before, and then flew all the way back to get the SHOT Show. He dimples all his receivers right where that third hole needs to go. If you decide that you want to, do what you want to do,
Make a modification.
Because you have a class 7 SOT.
Exactly.
because that's why you have a Class 7 SOT.
Exactly.
Or a Class 2 SOT, Class 7
Yeah,
FFL.
or yeah.
But yeah, I've heard plenty of interviews with that guy, and if the next rifle I buy is going to be from Sons of Liberty.
Now, the reason I didn't say PSA is because PSA will not send a completed lower to a state like New Jersey. They will not do it. So no, you're not pro 2A if you're falling for that crap, because my FFL can actually modify my rifle to be Jersey legal. That's, you mail it, that's not your problem as a gun company. It's up to me as the end receiver to make sure my gun is legal in my state, and they will not send it no matter what. Even if it's the FFL talking to them personally, they will not send it. I have multiple strip lowers from PSA, but I find that's bullcrap.
Yeah, I think that crap about, oh, we stay at a cheap price point because we're trying to. I don't
buy into it.
I don't buy into it.
Marketing.
Yep.
Well, I think that's about it for today for questions. But I'll try to, the rest of them I'll probably stick in as we go throughout the next, episodes. We'll stick one or two in just because we got quite a few. There were a lot of people that ask about TJ. And I just wanted to say TJ has an open invitation. We never fired him. So,
but just told him to get lost.
He's just busy, I think, doing other stuff. So that is that. And now we appreciate everybody who sent in questions. I will get the winners of prizes and such, names, etc., in order. So it may take a while. But I do have the first one I don't have a last name, but I got an email address, and that is Steve. So he gets first choice of the prizes. So if you're listening, you'll probably get an email from me, and then we'll go down the list. It's some weird order that I did on random.org. So that is that. Now Tony can go on to the second is for everyone stuff.
Second is for everyone. Diversity shoots still questionable. I haven't talked to Anthony. I listened to what Anthony had to say over at Gun for Hire Range, where we usually host, and they're still trying to figure out how they're going to host what they host, because the governor of New Jersey came up with some bull crap that they can only operate at 25% capacity. So we have 40 people come to our event. When you're limited to 35 people in an entire building, that's flaming horse crap. So we're trying to figure out what we're going to do. I'm in talks with someone in Pennsylvania, and I have another couple of ranges in Jersey that want to do something. But again, they have to figure out how they're going to do this thing, man. Post-COVID is a mafia right now. But as soon as they figure something out, we'll have something in Jersey. Minuteman Challenge, still on. As soon as, again, we can find out how we can do this legally, because the governor of New Jersey is a petty bitch. And he really wants to shut ranges down. I mean, he really does. And this is his excuse to do so. But we have some really cool giveaways going on our Patreon page. So 2A4E podcast on patreon.com. We have some cool giveaways right now. The next big move is to give away this High Point with the High Tower Armory chassis of your choice. That's going on, and you get to pick between two High Points, a 9mm or a 10mm. And get in tonight. It's the last night, the 30th of June. And we got some pretty cool stuff coming up, including a limited edition book by Larry Vickers, signed by him also. And I have a bunch of lowers I'm going to give away, and I'm talking to different companies about getting lower parts kits and other things that they can afford to give away. So please go to diversityshoot.com. Follow us on Instagram at Simon Says Train. And on Facebook at The Second is for Everyone. We really want to get some cool stuff in your hands. We got some cool patches to give away and everything else. And I'd really like to thank all of you guys that donated to us and help us every month, whether it's $1, whether it's $20, whatever you can afford. It helps us out, because I have no idea what's coming. I just know it ain't going to be free. And you guys help me out, and I appreciate it. And I will be speaking in Washington, D.C. at the National Second Amendment Rally. And I will be going to the Gun Rights Policy Conference down in Florida this year. And I will be speaking at I'll be speaking in DC, and hopefully I might be speaking in Florida also.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Tony. I would like to thank all our sponsors for this show who gave us prizes. Since Tony's thanking people, Matador Arms sent us $50 gift certificate, or they have it. I just have to give them a name. Faxon sent us those 9mm barrel muzzle brake combos, bolt carrier groups. Odin Works and their T-shirts and combat flip flops and their flip flops and shamags they sent us. So those are all the prizes these people that sent questions get to choose from. And Tony's holding up the Mag X, so you could go towards one of those if you would like. And that's that. So send questions, comments, feedback to gungearreview@gmail.com. Go pledge your support at gunandgearcult.com. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us an iTunes review. I saw there were a couple on there, but for this show, I'll just start going through them like normal again. Check out all the other great shows on the Firearms Radio Network at firearmsradio.tv. Don't forget to go to the Firearms Insider for reviews. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Firearms Insider. And of course, as always, thanks for listening to the largest pound for pound podcast on the network. And we are out.
Bye, guys. Thanks for showing up today.